Hi there. I have an idea for the summer, and I would love for you to join me. Summer is here, and it's easy to let your health slip to the back burner, but you have worked too hard to let a few warm months undo your progress. I want you to enjoy summer and keep your health moving forward. So here's how. I'm starting the Rise to Peak Summer Challenge, and best, it's free. The challenge is a way you can stay on track while enjoying vacation, the cookouts, the margaritas on the beach, the social calendar. So, what we're going to do is just 30 minutes of movement every day. That's it. It's simple, doable, anywhere, no excuses, and no gym is required. Are you up for the challenge? Let's dive into why 30 minutes of working out and movement and how it works and the science behind why we're doing this as a challenge. So, first up, let's talk about stress and cortisol. Summer can spike stress. The travel, your schedule's off, your routines are disrupted. Research shows that regular physical activity significantly lowers our cortisol levels. So 30 minutes of movement is literally medicine for your stress response. Many studies show that physical activity programs significantly lower cortisol levels and attenuate stress-induced disruptions to your diurnal rhythms. So the translation is movement protects your cortisol curve, the one that should be high in the morning and low at night. When that curve flattens, you get fatigue, brain fog, weight resistance, mood crashes, everything that my patients are coming into me with in the clinic. So 30 minutes of daily movement is one of the most direct interventions we have for HPA axis repair. Let's talk about your autonomic nervous system and heart rate variability. This is a meaningful reason to join the challenge. Exercise consistently enhances parasympathetic tone and increases heart rate variability, which we call HRV. HRV is your body's report card for resilience, recovery, and autonomic balance. In patients with cardiovascular disease, physical activity produced significantly improvements in HRV markers. In type 2 diabetes specifically, we know that exercise training improves HRV and the insulin glucose response. Even in healthy adults, vigorous physical activity is associated with greater parasympathetic predominance. The American Heart Association notes that exercise training increases cardiac electrical stability and may serve as a non-pharmacological antiarrhythmic intervention. So our bottom line, movement shifts you out of sympathetic overdrive into parasympathetic state where we are actually can be healing, having good digestion, and repair. This is not a wellness talking point. This is physiology. Let's talk about sleep. Movement improves sleep quality, reduces how long it takes you to fall asleep, and increases deep, slow wave sleep. Better sleep means better hormones, better metabolism, better everything. This is not optional. Sleep is where your body actually repairs itself. Exercise is now a clinically recognized intervention for insomnia. Full stop. Research confirms physical activity significantly improves sleep quality across both subjective and objective measures, including polysomnography. Specifically, it reduces sleep onset latency, increases total sleep time, increases sleep efficiency, decreases the wake after sleep onset, and increases our slow wave deep sleep. The mechanisms are multi-layered, where we have our HPA axis modulation, we're increasing BDNF in our brain, our circadian rhythm is getting regulated, we're reducing systemic inflammation and increasing availability of sleep neurotransmitters. Movement also helps train your circadian rhythm. Exercise is one of the primary lifestyle tools for circadian alignment. For shift workers, for women in perimenopause with disrupted sleep, or for anyone whose circadian rhythm has been flattened by stress, this matters enormously. 30 minutes of movement is not just about burning calories. It is resetting your entire sleep-wake architecture, especially when you can take it outside and get sunlight. Let's talk about the connection to movement and metabolism and blood sugar. A single bout of aerobic exercise increases muscle glucose uptake up to 5-fold. That insulin sensitizing effect lasts up to 48 hours after one session. The translation here is that movement is one of the most powerful metabolic tools you have, and it's free. Here's where it gets really good and really practical. A single bout of aerobic exercise increases muscle glucose uptake up to 5-fold. It enhances insulin action that lasts up to the 48 hours. And Exercise training reduces our hemoglobin A1C by 0.6 to 0.8% in type 2 diabetes and some comparative studies, which is comparable to metformin, even without weight loss. The diabetes prevention program shows a 58% reduction in type 2 diabetes incidence with 150 minutes per week of activity plus modest weight loss. Either at the end of the day, many studies have found exercise significantly improves every single component of metabolic syndrome, from waist circumference, blood pressure, HDL cholesterol, triglycerides, and fasting glucose. This is why I don't just tell my patients to eat better. I tell them to move every single day. 30 minutes checks that box. Let's talk about cardiovascular health and movement. Regular exercise lowers LDL cholesterol, reduces triglycerides, raises HDL, reduces chronic inflammation, enhances our autonomic balance, and improves vascular function. Aerobic exercise reduces resting blood pressure by approximately 4/3 millimeters mercury in the general population, with additional benefit in those who are already having hypertension. Here's a number I want you to remember. Even gentle increase in cardiorespiratory fitness is associated with a 15% reduction in cardiovascular events and mortality. The greatest risk reduction happens when someone moves from low fitness to moderate fitness, meaning you don't have to become an athlete. You just have to move consistently, and 30 minutes a day gets you there. Let's talk about your immune system. Higher habitual physical activity is associated with a 31% reduction in common infectious disease. Let's think about this. Summer travel, airports, crowds, your immune system needs this. Movement shifts your immune cells towards an anti-inflammatory profile. A large meta-analysis of over 557,000 people found that higher habitual physical activity is associated with a 31% reduction in community-acquired infectious disease and a 37% reduction in infectious disease mortality. Exercise interventions increase our CD4 cell count, increase salivary IgA concentration, and enhance antibody responses to vaccination. Mechanistically, regular moderate exercise lowers pro-inflammatory cytokines, shifts our immune cells towards an anti-inflammatory profile, and enhances innate immune regulation. Summer travel, airports, crowded beach, disrupted sleep, your immune system is under pressure. And guess what? 30 minutes of daily movement is your most accessible immune support tool. Let's talk about lymphatic function and detox. This one is directly relevant to everything we do with detox support in this practice. Skeletal muscle contraction during our movement directly propels lymph through our collecting vessels. At rest, roughly 1/3 of lower extremity lymph transport relies on this muscle pump mechanism, meaning when you stop moving, lymphatic flow slows significantly. Aerobic exercise improves lymphatic vessel pumping capacity, increases lymphatic vessel density, reduces lymphatic leakiness, and decreases perilymphatic inflammation, which are all dependent markers with weight loss. On the sweat side, exercise-induced sweating results in measurable excretion of heavy metals, including nickel, lead, copper, and arsenic, at concentrations higher than passive sauna sweating. The kidneys and liver remain primary. Sweat is a supplementary pathway, but it is real and it is meaningful. So movement is not just fitness, it is drainage, it is clearance, and it is biological housekeeping. Let's talk about mental health. A 2026 meta-analysis of 63 studies covering nearly 80,000 participants found exercise reduced depression and anxiety symptoms, with aerobic exercise showing the largest effects. Adults accumulating even half the recommended physical activity volume had an 18% lower risk of depression. At the full recommended level, a 25% lower risk. Higher physical activity is associated with a reduced risk of developing depression and anxiety. For my patients dealing with mood instability, emotional dysregulation, irritability, and anxiety that comes with perimenopause and any hormone shift, this is not supplementary care. This is primary intervention. And summer, with all of its scheduled disruptions, is exactly when mental health takes a hit if you stop moving. And lastly, let's talk about our brain health and dementia risk. A comprehensive meta-analysis that covered nearly 258,000 people found physical activity was associated with a 20% reduction in all-cause dementia. Specifically, 14% reduction in Alzheimer's disease risk and a 21% reduction in vascular dementia risk. These findings even held in studies with 20 or more years of follow-up, which rules out reverse causation. The mechanisms improve synaptic plasticity, dendritic remodeling, enhance mitochondrial function, improve vascular health, and increase expression of presynaptic protein markers. There is strong evidence that greater physical activity reduces the risk of cognitive decline and dementia. So brain fog is not just an inconvenience, it is an early signal, and movement is one of the most evidence-based interventions we have to address it. Every system I just walked you through talks to every other system. So when we start moving, we have this positive domino effect where better sleep improves better cortisol regulation. Better cortisol regulation drives better metabolic function. Better metabolic function drives better immune response. Better immune response drives better brain health. Better brain health drives better mood, better decisions, better performance. So 30 minutes of movement a day pulls every single one of these levers simultaneously. This is not a fitness challenge. This is a biology challenge, and your biology is worth protecting even on vacation. So how are you going to track it and make this simple? I've created a tracking spreadsheet just for you where you can log your daily movement, and then you can share your progress in our Facebook group while you're living your best summer life. I am really fired up about this because it's a way to get moving and make it simple. And when you commit, your progress doesn't just hold, it compounds. Movement dominates into that better sleep, better hormones, better energy, better everything. And for those who commit to the challenge and share their progress in our Facebook group, I have a special surprise waiting for you at the end of the challenge. So take a minute and close your eyes for a second. Imagine no fatigue, no brain fog, sleeping better, waking up with better moods in the morning. Imagine actually enjoying your summer with the energy to fully show up. This is what we're building toward. And summer is not a reason to pause. It's a reason to keep moving forward. So let's go. Are you in? Click the button below to sign up for the challenge. It's free, and I'll send you the tracker, the link where you get to join the community and get you ready to have fun in a deeply meaningful and impactful way with your health. I look forward to seeing you join the challenge.